Hello, 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 hello. I decided to go early or to start early today just because I wanted to make sure that my sound is restored to its settings. So if you'll indulge me, I just will play one of our transitions to see if it works okay. Let's take a look. Oh, good. That works just fine. Well, this is awesome. We are ready to go. We are ready to go a few minutes before 10:30, which is our usual starting time. So I will continue setting up this morning's broadcast, which is going to be a lot of fun while people start coming in. This is a very informal good morning before we get started with the show officially. As you can see, it's 10:28. We haven't started yet, but here we are. Why? Oh, because we can. Why not? And I see that some of you are already trickling in. Good morning, David. Good morning, Pat. Pat, I have a photo that I need to send you because it's a photo that a friend of mine took of me while I was looking at your chest tattoo, and the expression on my face is absolutely priceless. But I think that's going to be a private conversation between you and I because the photo is not. I don't look good, but it's very funny. Hello, Sean. It's great to see you. Yes, we are a little early, and why not? We're trying to. I looked at the clock and I said to myself, "I'm ready. I'm just ready to come in here, and I'm itching to do it." So I decided to just check and make sure that the audio was working properly, so that I wouldn't get caught off guard. Um, but it's great to see you all. It's great to see you early. Good morning, Sage. It was great to finally meet you. And I hope I'll get a chance to meet your husband as well sometime when he returns from the United States. Hello, Ramona. There you are. Have you been back to the secret wine bar? I don't know if you have, but I have at least once. Mm. Obviously, we're back to warm coffee now that the weather has gotten um, a little cooler. So it's yummy to enjoy the morning coffee when it's hot. Not during the summertime. During the summertime, we switch over to iced coffee. And I see that it is 10:30. So now we get the show on the road. Yay! Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we combine a great cocktail of knowledge and information that consists of headlines from our city, our state, and our country, tips, comments, ideas, questions, and suggestions about our city, places to go, things to do, and when we can, exploration into Mexico's culture, history, traditions, so that we can all put all this information to good use and better connect with each other and better connect with the city, Puerto Vallarta, as our home. And of course, as a community of English speaking locals. As always, it is a pleasure to get together with you. And today is no exception. It is Monday, November 14. Thanksgiving is around the corner, U.S. Thanksgiving anyway. And of course, it is Monday. I had a great weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. I have fun things to share with you today. But first of all, let us welcome everyone and let us welcome those of you that are joining us live for the first time. If that is you, then you can let us know by writing the word new in your comment, and that way we will give you a nice little welcome. And also, If there's something really important that you wish to share that we shouldn't miss, as always, we invite you to add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment so that we can look at it during the comment section later on in the broadcast. Today, we have great news, and there is a common theme. These are news that have, this is news. Is it plural or singular? It is news. They are news. They are headlines. That's what they are. That's what I'm trying to say. We have headlines that have everything to do with going away, and a couple of headlines that have to do with coming here. But headlines about going away. And of course, oh my gosh, I've been laughing too much in the last few days. We're going to talk about El Tuito. If you don't know anything about El Tuito, or if you know very little, or would like to learn more about El Tuito, today we are going to dive in there. And El Tuito, well, we'll wait. First of all, let's take care of our headlines, and we'll take it from there. When it comes to cruise ship arrivals, this is going to be an excellent week for our city with two different triple arrivals. This is, as you can see from the photograph, those instances in which we max out the capacity of our cruise terminal with three large-scale cruises arriving at the same time. The first triple arrival will be tomorrow, with the arrival of the Norwegian Jewel, the Celebrity Solstice, and the Navigator of the Seas. The second one will be the following day, Wednesday, with the arrival of the Carnival Panorama, the Norwegian Bliss, and the Koningsdam. Now, what does this mean? Well, a triple arrival brings to the city over 9,500 passengers that come in just for the day to have fun, and an average of $1.2 million US in revenue. So this week, we can expect twice as many and twice as much, and this is good for our destination. Speaking of cruises, Nayarit Governor Miguel Ángel Navarro Quintero posted new images of the ferries that will travel from the coast to Islas Marías, or at least one of the ferries. This is the Islas Marías 2. In his Twitter post, the governor wrote, "I'd like to share some aspects of the soon-to-start cruises aboard the Islas Marías 2. Of course, details are still sketchy, but the inside looks very, very comfortable, and the ceiling of the cabin seems to be an enormous LED screen with water reflections on it. I don't know that will contribute to make us more or less seasick, but I suppose we'll have to wait till this thing is actually running. The ferry, I have read, has a capacity for up to 350 people, and the latest information about departure places, that is, places where we will be able to hop on the ferry, does not include Puerto Vallarta, at least not yet. The ferries will apparently depart from Punta de Mita. Punta de Mita doesn't even have a pier, but what do I know? From San Blas, Punta de Mita and San Blas in Nayarit, and they will depart from Mazatlan in Sinaloa. There is no information about prices yet, but it's been rumored that, number one, the trips will begin in December, and number two, that there will be a round-trip price of 7,000 pesos per passenger, which will include an overnight stay at the island. So, it's a one-night stay somewhere, which you would probably pay, I don't know, like 1,000, 1,500 pesos to stay somewhere, and then the transportation on the ferry. So I don't know if that's going to be very expensive or not. All I know is that it's going to be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait. Needless to say, we'll continue giving you information about this very exciting new trip that is coming soon, hopefully. And more about traveling. It seems like the presidential plane, Mexico's presidential plane, that is largely unused because it is so extravagantly swanky, our president is almost embarrassed to use it. Everything seems to indicate that it is no longer for sale. It has found a new owner and a new purpose by being incorporated into the new airline or company that we had previously announced, will be administered by the government through Mexico's Secretary of Defense. This is new in Mexico, friends. An airline travel company that is handled by the government, because this is the new company that will also handle the Maya train trip and probably also the Islas Marías ferries that we just mentioned. So this is new and interesting information that we will continue to follow as the information becomes available. And now let us take a quick look at the weather forecast just to see what we can expect for the beginning of this week. Disney had to choose an anti vaxxer to be the next Black Panther in order to keep their special tax status in Florida. Oh, that's mysterious. And I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm not going to go there because it has to do with Florida and very interesting things are happening over there that don't pertain to coffee and headlines. What is important here is that it is 26 degrees right now. Feels like 28. Humidity is a comfortable 69%. And for those of you that read Fahrenheit numbers, our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 78. Our weather forecast for today says partly cloudy through the day with a high of 29 and a low of 19. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, it's going to be clear through the day with a high of 30 and a low of 19. And then Wednesday, clear through the day with a high of 30 and a low of 19 as well. This is going to be a good week as far as weather is concerned. And now let us get into the rest of our broadcast. And I want to start by sharing this headline. Hang on. Let's see. What do I need to do? There it is. If you've been thinking of visiting the town of Mascota, maybe the day to do it will be this coming November 26th, as the Mexican Council for the Promotion of Raicilla will hold their very first Raicilla Day in town. Apparently, the event will bring together 22 different brands of raicilla that is made in this region of the state of Jalisco. There will be tastings, there's going to be cocktails, mixology, and that kind of stuff, and even live mariachi music and folkloric ballet performances. This is all happening in the town of Mascota, which is about an hour, 45 minutes out of Puerto Vallarta, on November the 26th. So let us talk a little bit about getaways, because I went away to El Tuito again, this time just for the day, this past Sunday. Now, I want to tell you some general information about El Tuito. First of all, let us find El Tuito in the map in case you've never been. El Tuito, as you know, or maybe you don't know, is the head of the municipality of Cabo Corrientes. Here's Puerto Vallarta up here. And this whole region over here, this is called Cabo Corrientes. This is the municipality just south of Puerto Vallarta. And here is El Tuito, the head of the municipality. Now, somewhere along this road, we know that this is the highway that goes south 200, and we past Mismaloya, and we get to Boca de Tomatlan, and then the highway heads up towards the mountains. At some point, somewhere around here, is the Botanical Gardens, which is a very well-known destination. And then the road continues south, and here is El Tuito. And what has happened in El Tuito is that, for the most part, El Tuito has been a town you pass through. Either you are passing through El Tuito to continue south, or you are veering from El Tuito to head back to the ocean to go to places like Maito or Tehuamixtle or Villa del Mar, which are three towns that are sandwiched down here. But this is pretty much what has happened in El Tuito. Now, I've been fortunate to have been going to El Tuito on a fairly regular basis, maybe not so much in the recent years, but for pretty much over a decade. Now, when you see the development of a town like El Tuito, and you see the feasibility of a town like El Tuito becoming a popular destination, excuse me, you have to consider there has to be a way to get there. Uh, there has to be a place to stay if you want to spend the night. There have to be things to do, and there has to be food, or at the very least, there has to be a public place where you can sit down and rest if you're exploring around the town. So let us break those four things down and talk a little bit about Tuito. Getting there has been a no brainer because the same bus that many of you take to the botanical gardens continues all the way down to El Tuito. The trip takes a little bit over an hour and it drops you off on the main plaza. So the challenge in the past has been, okay, now we're here. Now, where do we go or what do we do? So this has been evolving slowly. But even before we talk about where do we go and what do we do, let's talk about where do you stay at El Tuito. Right now, there is a hotel right on the highway. And there has been the Jardín del Tuito, which is a very lovely three-suite hotel located right in the city. I used to go there a lot because I was friends with the owners, but then the owners decided to dissolve the project for personal reasons. And very recently, the project came into the hands of Arancha Asensio, who used to have the restaurant on the Isla Rio Cuale. And she is now running this little hotel, but again, it's only three suites within the same hotel. So it's not like there's a lot of options for lodging. There is a very nice US, I think they're from the US, I could be wrong, American or maybe Canadian couple that opened a hotel in El Tuito, and then it used to be on the mountain side of the highway. No, that's wrong. If you're heading south, on the eastern side of the highway, which is more of a residential side of El Tuito. So it's not like it was right in the heart of town. Then they moved the hotel to one block away from the main plaza. But this all happened during the pandemic when people were just not traveling all that much. And then they decided to open a pizza place. And I had a lovely time eating at the pizza place last night, and it was absolutely wonderful. So bottom line on lodging, there are still not enough choices out there for you to consider spending the day. Now, it has been a personal theory of mine that El Tuito, well, actually, before we go into personal theory of mine, what's going on in El Tuito, or why would you want to go? Well, for starters, if you compare El Tuito with San Sebastián del Oeste, which we know and we've talked about, they're both up in the mountains. Like when you're going through the highway and you're approaching El Tuito, all of a sudden you're surrounded by pine cone trees, and it's only an hour away from Puerto Vallarta. So the weather changes enough so that during the summer months you can feel slightly more comfortable up in the mountains. So it's close and it's easy to get to because there's this public bus that just drops you off right on the main plaza. Excuse me, but what do you do? Well, for the longest time, I've been of this theory that the day El Tuito opens or increases or nurtures their tianguis, their weekly mercado, with more interesting offerings along the lines of more hands and craft stuff, more farmers market kind of stuff, then people would be increasingly inclined to go to El Tuito and spend the day. I hope you're not bored with all this conversation because I have a lot of stuff to share with you, including a little video. So this is my very extended introduction to El Tuito. Are you guys enjoying this? I certainly hope so. Please, some thumbs up would help because I feel like I'm just rambling. Anyhow, so I've told my friends, the day El Tuito has a kick-ass market, it's the day when people will start coming and spending the day. Number one. Number two, the day El Tuito has enough places to eat, then people will start coming for the day. And this has happened. This has happened, not overnight, but little by little. I was in El Tuito, as you know, a week and a half ago. I was kidnapped in the middle of the week. That's the day in which you enjoyed the Day of the Dead pre-recorded special. And it is so nice to see that now you can go and have wonderful places to stay. No, not to stay, to eat, to hang out, and to really make a day out there. So Today, we are going to explore something else, but it has to do with El Tuito. As it turns out, and tomorrow, okay, I'm getting all over the place here. I'm sorry, but I'm just excited. Today, we are going to take a look at Campestre Las Parotas. Campestre Las Parotas is a fabulous restaurant that is in El Tuito, not in the heart of town. It's on the other side of town, so it's almost its own day trip. This is a project by our friend Paul, who owns Hotel Mercurio, his husband Luis, and Luis's friend Valeria opened this restaurant out in El Tuito called Campestre Las Parotas, which is amazing. And it's amazing because it's a totally country style, not US country, but country like small town style restaurant. It's a buffet. All the food is cooked in leña, with wood stove ovens, and all the food is cooked in clay pots. So this is truly a traditional place to get to. Now, here's the thing with Campestre Las Parotas, you may have heard about it, you may not, but the beautiful thing is that you experience traditional Mexican food the way it is supposed to be. Or the way traditional people like it, people out in small towns. So the buffet is open only Saturdays and Sundays. And you have to get there wicked early. You want to get there by 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning because food starts to run out. Who goes to this buffet? Well, all the local families. El Tuito has small restaurants, but there was not a larger venue that could accommodate a lot of families with children to hang out and spend the day and enjoy wonderful, affordable food. I think the buffet for adults, all you can eat, was like 230, 260 pesos, which is nothing. It's nothing. And it was absolutely wonderful. So today, what's going to happen is I'm going to show you how to find the restaurant. And tomorrow, we're going to do a walk around of the restaurant. And then I took my first exploration through the increasingly wonderful tianguis at El Tuito, which is now more than just a traditional Mexican tianguis. Now there's an increasing number of local artists that are selling their stuff over there. So it's getting there. It's getting there, and it is quite exciting. But we will talk more in detail about the town tomorrow. And we will talk more about the different offerings and the reasons why you would want to go and explore it and how you can schedule a perfect day over there. That'll happen tomorrow. Today, we dive into the getting to this particular restaurant that I will show you tomorrow in a video. So let's get there first. And you're supposed to start. Come on. Okay, so... Oh, let me try that again. Hold on. Okay, so we have just arrived in El Tuito, and I am about to show you exactly how to get to La Parota. Las Parotas. So let me turn down the music a little bit so we can converse. Essentially, you get into the heart of town. Actually, before I get there, there are two entrances to El Tuito. There's the new entrance, which as you're driving, you're going to see the El Tuito letters on the right-hand side. But you continue into town through the highway. And once you get to the old entrance, you have to take this left, which, as you can see, is paved for a little while, and there's nothing much going on this side of town as yet. There's a lot of fields, there's a lot of property that is just being developed. And think of this side of the highway as the residential side of El Tuito. And once you take this road, essentially you continue along this one road. You veer to the right here, and there is some signage available. And once you've taken this right or veered in this general direction, then all you have to do is to continue until you see another sign that invites you to take a right to where the restaurant is located. But as you can see, here the road becomes more rugged. That's the end of the road, of the paved road. And here, depending on the season, if it's been raining, the road could be a little bit interesting. But I have heard of at least one person that took the bus into town and was able to hop in a cab that took her down this road to the restaurant. And so that can be arranged in case you wanted to explore this restaurant and you don't have a car. You can take the bus, and instead of getting off the bus at the main plaza, I'm sure the bus will drop you up right on the highway. And you can do this. How long did it take to do this ride? This drive, rather? It took about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes down this road. And the road just keeps going and going. A lot of empty land, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people looking at properties out here. Look at how beautiful it is. It's just fields and more fields, ranches, casitas all over the place, agricultural facilities. Bumpy road. Sherry asks, would you call this a rural or country? I would call it both, but not country as you understand country north of the border. This is just country land. Where does one catch the bus to El Tuito? That's a great question, John. Let me get through the video and we'll answer that momentarily. Here is the turn. Here is the turn to the restaurant. There's a sign right on the road. There it is. And you take a right and you are almost there. Luis and Valeria found this property. Well, actually, Valeria did. They purchased it, went into business together. There was nothing in the property. So little by little, they have started to build casitas. And of course, all the facilities required in the restaurant to feed all these hundreds of people that visit it every weekend. And here we enter the property at the end of the road, and you are now within the property of El Campestre Las Parotas. And once you get there, there's a parking area in the back. There's a small lake on the left. And the restaurant sits on the right under 3 ginormous parota trees. And there we are. We have just arrived. And that was the process of getting from the highway to the restaurant itself. Tomorrow, we will take a look at the restaurant. We'll do a walk around and we'll take another walk around the Mercado on the main plaza. And we will continue exploring everything that El Tuito has to offer as of today. But now it's comment time. Let's see what you guys are up to. Lots of good mornings as always. Good morning, good morning. Wow, early, says Sean. Yes, we started a little early just because I was in the mood. I was ready to go like 5 minutes prior, and I wanted to check that my sound was properly working. As you recall, on Saturday, it was a little wonky. Let's see. Karen, I'm glad you're recovering. Thank you very much for letting us know. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Albert says, El Tuito, great raicilla distillery. If you are referring to Rancho Raicilleria, oh, I forget the name. But if you're referring to the one that is owned by Tino of Mariscos Tino's fame, unfortunately, it's not open to the public anymore, or at least not right now. There's the Rancho El Divisadero. That was the name of it. I called them, as a matter of fact, to find out whether the restaurant they used to run, it was open to the public, and unfortunately, it is not. It is still a raicilla distillery. If you get there, they won't turn you down if you want to drive into the distillery and explore it. But there are no tours, there is no food, nothing organized that I know of. And this is when I called Mariscos Tinos. Moving right along. Let's see what else we have. News. Notable events, weather, and sports. I signed in right as you were finishing talking about this. Hopefully this is an answer to your question. Whose question? This is probably not for me. Okay. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Ferry looks like a very nice ship. Wonder how long it will stay that way, that nice. Dave, check your medication. Optimism helps. Let's see what else. Maybe Punta de Mita will catapult people from shore. I have no idea, Jeannie. I don't know, because I don't remember there being any kind of pier out there. There is a pier from within Punta Mita. I believe they've built a pier inside of Punta Mita, but you know, they're not going to let mere mortals like you and I into Punta Mita just to hop on a ferry that is run by the government. It has to happen from Punta de Mita, which is outside of the gated community. But we'll see. We'll see. And as long as we know, I'll keep you posted with new information. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. Oh no, it's National Pickle Day in the United States. Thought of your pickle. Thank you for letting us know. I love it when people think of my pickle. I often think of other people's pickles as well. Let's see. The downtown square in El Tuito has a couple of tasty restaurants. Yes, it does, and we will talk about those with more detail tomorrow, in fact. Let's see what else. Thank you for your confirmation that you wanted to hear about El Tuito. I'm very glad. We always have fun just wandering around El Tuito, taking in the sights. There's a small but great art gallery. Yes, there is. Again, we will talk about all these little hidden gems in El Tuito with more detail tomorrow. When they improve the road to the coast from El Tuito, the town will certainly become a more important place to stay and visit. The road from El Tuito to the coast is actually quite lovely, Dave. You know, it suffers during the rain season like most roads do, but it is quite a manageable road. It's not any better or any worse than the road to San Sebastián. Julie adds, the lovely owners of the old Babel bar, which are now the managers of Jardín del Tuito in El Tuito, will now be opening Babel Bar Maito, uh, worth a day trip if visiting El Tuito. Um, and let me just remind you, El Tuito is not a small tweet. This is not a town that is owned by Elon Musk. It is just called El Tuito. So if you ask me what is a Tuito, El Tuito is not a small tweet. I have no idea what El Tuito stands for. We established this as both rural and country. Where does one catch? Oh, I'm sorry about that. John, you catch the bus to El Tuito from Colonia Emiliano Zapata. It is in the corner of Aguacate and... let me look at the map. Hold on just a second because I'm not going to give you precise information. Maps.google.com. And let me zoom in on the map and show you exactly where you go. Okay. So here we are. You're coming down from the small tunnel, and there's El Brujo, and you keep coming down the small tunnel, and you get to this corner, which is the corner of Venustiano Carranza and Aguacate, right where that bus stop sign is. This is where you catch the bus to El Tuito. I think it's 15 or 20 pesos. It's not at all expensive. So there you have it. Let's see what else we have. Countdown 50 plane reservations made. I don't... Oh, countdown 50 days, maybe. Plane reservations have been made. I understand. Got it. Sage is laughing. There used to be a vendor at the Renaissance Festival in Virginia, who would say, who wants to taste my pickle? My pickle. You know, it's the story of my life. Sage, I'm constantly looking for people that would enjoy tasting my pickle. Hopefully somebody will knock on the door this week. Is this the same bus stop as buses that go to Mismaloya? The answer is yes. And Pat, no worries. I talked to Pat. Well, I didn't talk to Pat. I brought you up in conversation, Pat, on Saturday because I want to go explore Las Juntas y los Veranos with you. And I haven't checked my email in a couple of days because I have been away. But I will check my email and we'll get back to you with that silly photograph of me looking at your boobs, which somebody took. Well, I was not looking at your breasts. I was looking at your tattoos. That's what I was looking at. Anyhow, I think we are done with today's broadcast. As always, I thank you with all your questions, your ideas, and your suggestions, and your interest in exploring areas that are beyond Puerto Vallarta. As I mentioned, I will get on editing all this other content that I captured yesterday for you, and we'll present it to you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we can expect a walk around of Campestre Las Parotas, and if all goes well, or maybe we'll save it for Wednesday, a walk around of El Tuito's main plaza, which will include the Sunday Mercado, a quick dive into the cultural center, and a couple of restaurants that are worth talking about. But between now and then, I hope you will have an awesome day, that you'll stay kind, you'll stay happy. I hope the beginning of your week flows nicely. I know mine will. Have a great day.